My fellow citizens of all nations, hit the like button, it helps. And now let's talk about the obstacle is the way. Rule over yourself. There's this story of John Glenn who spent nearly a day in space, still keeping his heart rate under 100 beats per minute. Yet our heart is almost like shaking and pumping out of our chests when we want to talk to a stranger in the street. When we confront someone, our heart beats like crazy. Our neck goes dry, we can barely speak. We are confused, we cannot remember what's going on. But here is the man in the space who spent nearly a day in space, and he still keeps his heart rate under 100 beats per minute. In space, what astronauts are first trained in is to control their fear. You should never panic. If there is a danger, by panicking you multiply the danger like 100 and 1000-fold. It don't help us at all. So this is what they are trained for first, to overcome this obstacle, overcome their fear, because it will get them killed. It will make them fail entire mission. So now think about it, how fragile we humans became. Our heart rate goes like crazy when we want to talk to perfect strangers sometimes, when we confront someone, etc. When we want to have these presentations, stuff like, you have to practice. This is the point of this thing. We have to practice. We have to be able to, through practice, rule over ourselves. Like John Glenn did not just did it out of nowhere. He went through vigorous training and practice in NASA, and that's how he achieved it. And the entire saying is this: would you have a great empire? Rule over yourself first. Rule over yourself. And now this amor fati. My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it, because it is your fate, it is your life. Love it. Love everything that comes in your way. Love of fate. This is what amor fati stands for. And love it, like love every single one of these things. It's your life. Now the story of this is a story of unity over self. We are in this together. James Stockdale got shut down in Viet Cong and captured by Viet Cong essentially. And as a true Stoic, he decided to make himself in prison to help his fellow prisoners of war. What he did there represents Stoicism in that way that he wanted to help the others, and he attempted suicide not to run away from pain, but to send the message to their captors that he would not be subdued. He would not be weakened. And this is unity over self. We are in this together. He wanted to help also others. And John McCain was also there, and he struggled and got tortured, and multiple times Viet Cong just offered him to leave so they would shame the McCain family tradition, but he refused it. And this is the Stoic spirit in it. Now, memento mori, which means remember you are mortal, or every third thought shall be my grave. Just like Steve Jobs says in his favorite famous speech, like we pretend as if we live forever, right? We need this reminder, memento mori. You are dying. You have a cancer, not literal cancer, but you have mortal disease. The moment you are born, you are sentenced to die. Your time is limited. Your time is numbered. And you don't know, by the way, that how many years or days or hours you are going to live. Nobody knows it. Bloody meteor can fall to your place where you are. Anything can happen. Robber, like evil people, may invade your house, etc. Maybe you get hit by a car. The death is the reality, and meditate on your death. What samurais used to do, for example, they would meditate on their death. Why? Because death is a reality. It's inevitable fact. Like there's movies, I remember a couple movies where like the main character understands that she will die in a couple hours and wants to change and fix his things and stuff. Or hears he has cancer and this entire amount of time left. Like same thing goes for us. For every single one of us. We live as we are immortal, but that's not true. We are sentenced to die. We are dying right now, me and you. We're both dying. And this is up to you, or up to us, how we will spend our time. Are we going to spend our time doing nothing? Or are we going to spend our life doing things? And before you create tragedy out of your failure, out of your misfortune, understand that it could have always been a lot more worse than it has been. And like the author kind of goes easy on people there, but I'm not going to do that right now. Let's say you lost money. Guess what could have happened to you? You could have been killed. Your parents, your relatives, your family could have been killed in front of your eyes, and after that you could have been tortured and killed. Your sons would have died. You could have died. You could have easily lost your arms. You could have easily lost your life. You could have easily found a situation a lot worse than just what happened. Like no matter what happens to you, it could have always been a lot more worse than it already is for you. So stop pitying yourself. It's not about you will get nowhere by that, and understand that whatever can happen to you, it should have been a lot more worse than it is. And most likely, both people whine and etc. About their life is nothing compared to what happened to James Stockdale or John McCain, for example, when they were imprisoned in Vietcong. What's that? So stop. Unlikely that you will find yourself in that situation. What are you crying about and looking at yourself as a victim? You have a choice. You can be a victim, or you can be the one that makes changes. Momento mori, you are dying. While you are thinking about and pitying yourself, self-pity will get you nowhere. It don't help at all. Now, I want to critique a certain example in this book. Basically, the author of the book, Ryan, puts a story of Odysseus as a story of hero returning home. But I disagree with that thing. It's not the story of the Odysseus is not the hero's journey to home, but it's kind of different story. And let me explain what I mean. On his journey back home, Odysseus finds himself on with the goddess. Basically, image 10 out of 10 immortal beauty. Calypso was her name, if I remember correctly. Calypso. 10 out of 10 beauty. She will never rust. She will never grow old. She will always stay as beautiful as she is. 10 out of 10, like goddess. The name says it. She has servants there, etc., and she falls for the Odysseus. And she offers her two things. Now, okay. She offers him, the Odysseus, herself. The goddess offers herself to Odysseus. And not only that, but the most important thing. She offers Odysseus an immortality if she stays with her. Immortality. Here is the two offers on the table. The top level beauty, an actual goddess, offers Odysseus to, hey, I love you, I have feelings for you, I want you, stay with me, be with me, share bed with me. Plus, I will make you immortal, and obviously you will have servants and etc. there. And Odysseus, instead of agreeing on this offer, Odysseus goes on the sea and cries and weeps all day long. Like, what type of man does that? Who does that thing with these two offers on the table. The goddess, 10 out of 10 beauty, offers herself to the man, and plus to that an immortality, dream of and so many heroes of era, right? We can take Gilgamesh as an example, who died while trying to become immortal. He gets these two offers, and he just instead of being happy for getting this offer and agreeing on it, just goes on the beach and cries all day and misses his home and mortal woman and family. Make your conclusions yourself. Is this a hero returning home story or something different? I've gave you facts, but whole as a book is just great. That's why I've read this book and we're reviewing it right now. So right now, very quickly, we are going to go through all the rest of the notes I made, and I'm going to read it for you. And let's go through it. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. You know what you want to do. There's this saying that everybody knows what you wants to do. The only thing or everybody knows what he needs to do. The only thing left there is to take that action. And think about the today only. Don't think about like 10, like 5. No. Think about to get today's goal finished. And same thing tomorrow and after tomorrow. Think the same things. Don't stretch your mind too far. Our attitude and our approach. Bad companies are destroyed by crisis. Good companies survive them. Great companies are improved by them. To steal good fortune from misfortune. The obstacle is the pass. Becomes the pass. Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve our condition. The things which hearts instruct. Objective judgment now at this very moment. Unselfish action now at this very moment. Willing acceptance now at this very moment. Of all the external events, that's all you need. Perception, action, and the will. It's simple process, but again, not easy. He had the strength to resist temptation or excitement, no matter how seductive, no matter the situation. This is about the John D. Rockefeller. It's one of the most qualified characteristic of his character, basically. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Oh, how blessed young men are who have to struggle for a foundation and beginning in life. I shall never cease to be grateful for the 3.5 years of apprenticeship and the difficulties to be overcome all along the way. Napoleon Hill, many other people basically say that the greatest thing is this said by John Rockefeller. The greatest thing that happened to a young man is to being born in poverty, because you learn things that you would otherwise never been able to learn. You see things you otherwise never be able to see. And as well, that whole journey of pulling yourself and overcoming those unfavorable odds. Like, what can be more beautiful than that? What can be more beautiful than that? We can stop seeing the problems in front of us as problems. We can learn to focus on what things really are. We are never completely powerless. What such a man needs is not courage, but nerve control, cool-headedness. This he can get only by practice. So true. When you worry, ask yourself, what am I choosing not to see right now? What important things are you missing because you choose worry over introspection, alertness, or wisdom? Business opportunities are like buses. There is always another coming around. And you, by rejecting some business opportunities, you could have easily avoided the bullet. What is up to us? What is not up to us? What's up to us? Our emotions, judgments, creativity, choice, attitude, perspective, desires, decisions, and determinations. This is up to us. The trick to forgetting the big picture is to look at everything close up. Focus on the moment, not the monsters that may or may not be up ahead. So true. Focus on the moment. There is good in everything, if only we look for it. A clearer head makes for steadier hands. In life, it does not matter what happens to you or where you came from. It matters what you do with what happens and what you've been given. And the only way you'll do something spectacular is by using it all to your advantage. Life can be frustrating. Oftentimes we know what our problems are. We may even know what to do about them, but we fear that taking action is too risky, that we don't have the experience, or that it's not how we pictured it, or because it's too expensive, because it's too soon, because we think something better might come along, because it might not work. We talk a lot about courage as a society, but we forget that at its most basic level, it's really just taking action. Whether that's approaching someone you are intimidated, or by deciding to finally crack a book or on a subject you need to learn. So true. And let me read this part. Whether that's approach someone you are intimidated by, or deciding to finally crack a book on a subject you need to learn. We will not be stopped by failure. We will not be rushed or distracted by external noise. We will chisel and peg away at the obstacle until it is gone. Resistance is futile. Such a mentality, such a mindset to have. Have this mindset. Consider this mindset. Never in hurry, never worried, never desperate, never stopping short. Consider, have these beautiful thoughts in your head. It is not just, actually calling these thoughts beautiful is not true. It's a powerful perspective to have in your mind. Because it's not beautiful, it's far from beautiful. It's a perspective, powerful perspective, stoic perspective to have in your mind. Persist and resist. Persist in your efforts, resist giving to distraction, discouragement, or disorder. Temporary setbacks are not discouraging. Failure shows us the way by showing us what is not the way. Being trapped is just a position, not a fate. How do you do anything is how you can do everything. Sometimes the longest way around is the shortest way home. Wise men are able to make a fitting use even of their enmities. In the meantime, cling tooth and nail to the following rule: not to give in to adversary, not to trust prosperity, and always take full note of fortune's habit of behaving just as she pleases. So true. Sound mind is a strong body. Many saw themselves as mental athletes. After all, the brain is a muscle like any other active tissue. It can be built up and toned through the right exercises. Over time, their muscle memory grew to the point that they could intuitively respond to every situation, especially obstacles. If you are not humble, life will visit humbleness upon you. Be aware that calm before the storm. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. The worst is yet to come. It gets worse before it gets better. The fates guide the person who accepts them and hinder the person who resists them. Acceptance rather than resentment of the fate. Accept. It's your life. Amor fati. Love your fate. To get these unexpected benefits, we first have to accept the unexpected costs. So true. By facing obstacle, you face also unexpected benefits. But you have to also face the obstacle as well to get that unexpected benefits. That nobody wants that. Man proposes, but God disposes. As fate would have it, heaven forbid, nature permitting. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Or you can say that man proposes, but God disposes. We are indifferent, and that's not a weakness at the Stoics. Nature, in order to be commanded, must be obeyed. Have this in your mind what I'm going to write now. There are far more failure in the world due to collapse of the will than there will ever be from objectively conclusive external events. Trying something once and just giving up. This is it. That's how Charles said it. No, that's not true. Perseverance, force of purpose, indomitable will. There are far more failures in the world due to collapse of will than there will ever be from objectively conclusive external events. So true. Collapse of the will. This is the fatal, the most dangerous thing that can happen to you. With the exercise of self-trust, new powers shall appear. With exercise of self-trust, new powers shall appear. Beautiful. You have to exercise the self-trust. Powerful. Have this in your mind. Now, this acronym was a favorite acronym of Churchill. KBO. Keep buggering on. KBO. Keep buggering on. Keep buggering on. Now, an important thing to know. No, life is a marathon and not a sprint. It's important to know because if you start running like hell, you will burn yourself out. It's a marathon. Who will last? Who will reach the finish line? It's a struggle. It's not a marathon. We gather strengths as we go. While we advance, we gather the strength. We learn necessary skills. We gain necessary knowledge. While we advance, while we are moving, while we go. As we go, not while, but as we go, we gain these skills. These things from what they are. Do what we can, endure and bear what we must. What blocked the past now is a past. What once impeded action advances action. The obstacle is the way. What once impeded the action advances action. The obstacle is the way. Philosopher and the person of action. That is not a contradiction. This is it. If you haven't hit the like button already, hit it and subscribe if you haven't already. See you and stay stoic.